Yes, it's cold. I don't care. You don't like it? Patrick Grant. Woo! First in, first on. And Jeff, howdy, sir. Woo! And I am going to show y'all that I am not lying about it being cold. This was taken just a couple of seconds ago. Look, 37. Feels like 28 because of the humidity. 40% chance of rain between now and an hour from now. Then it dries out. Then it comes right back to raining as the temperature keeps falling off. No big deal. But for Houston, that's freaking cold. And then show y'all a little bit about what I'm expecting. Let's see. Today the high was 41. That's already passed at like noon, and it's been falling off ever since. It's going to get down to 27. I've been working outside trying to get the plants all bundled up. In fact, I mean like all bundled up. Look, there's a plant under that bag. Wait, here, I'll show y'all that bag here in a minute. Sorry about that. And let's see. Let's show y'all what the weather looks like coming up to me. Looky there. That line of crap is about to hit here, and behind it, it's going to be cold, possibly snow, maybe a little ice. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I do know if it ices up, Houston will shut down the roads. No big deal, just saying. Now, about that plant. See that big plastic bag right there? That is on top of a big-ass milk crock from Amish country. You can put plants in big crocks like that out of Amish country, and that crock will keep everything warm on the inside. But on the top, you drop a towel on top of it, and then you drop the plastic bag over the top, which keeps the wind blowing from blowing the towel off, and it's good. So, yeah. It's chili. I would prefer it to be a bowl of chili. Woo! Robert, good for you, brother. Good for you. And Martin, howdy, sir. Robert, howdy. Great to see all of y'all here today. I picked up an old favorite, and I'm going to show y'all something. Now, normally, when they're brand new, these cellophanes are crystal clear. And with this particular cigar, it's real hard to tell until you start taking the cellophane off. But see all that yellow? That's a good thing. For cigars in cellophane, that's a damn good thing. What it tells you is that's been sitting around a while. Now, judging by the serial number, this is from 2020. Now, remember, I learned to look at all these barcodes and serial numbers when I was working in a cigar shop with all these barcodes and serial numbers. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Make up your funny stories about how I go all Eskimo, but I'm the one sitting outside. I won't be sitting in front of a blanket with a nice easy chair and a heater pointed at me. No, I'm sitting outside. And I'll be sitting outside for an hour and a half at least. And I will be enjoying my cigar, and I will still keep the chat rolling. So whether y'all think it's going Eskimo on you or not, y'all just remember, y'all are going to get that open invite to come to Houston in August. Now, North Carolina does get a little warm. I'll admit that. South Carolina gets a little warmer. The only thing worse in the Carolinas than anything here in Houston is that damn red clay. Because it gets on everything and stains everything pink. Which is how I think McClelland ended up pink. That was Mac Cleland. Certain whale. Also Stonehaven, the pink. Now, if y'all are wondering about the cigar, that is a Romeo 505 Nicaragua. Now, Martin, y'all might have that same red clay in Georgia. And I'm not going to sit there and try and tell you about hot, being that you live south of Hotlanta. There's a reason they call it Hotlanta. Y'all get the Atlantic current coming up out of Florida, and y'all get the Gulf current coming up off of Florida, and it'll smother you. Well, Houston's the same exact way, but just a little bit warmer 90% of the time. I'm not saying all the time. Sometimes we get a cool front. Cools it down from 98 all the way down to 96. Woo! 100% humidity, 96 degrees. I call it mouth weather because it's like walking into somebody's mouth. And of course, when it's that humid and hot, it's like somebody's mouth that has halitosis because it stinks. Hey. But yes, I'm taking wood for the team. All right. There it is. It's cut. I used the little bullet cutter from Zycar. My hand is cold, so I'm tucking it back into my sleeve. Go ahead, make all the fun and jokes you want. I don't see y'all outside right now in feels like 28-degree weather. Boris is exempted from that statement. Of course. Scotch would warm me up, but I'm not drinking scotch. I'm not going to drink anything. I'm going to sit out here and supper. Not in silence, though. That would be a very boring tailgate, wouldn't it? Me just sitting here smoking a cigar, silent. That'd be like something Josh would do. Though when Josh does it, it's cool. When I do it, it's just bad form. Yeah, but Patrick, you already said it's warmer in New York City than it is in Houston right now. That is true, Martin. That is true. You really want to kind of be somewhere out in the open. And Robert, in answer to your statement about the wind doesn't blow in Georgia, according to anybody in Houston that happens to be an Astros fan, everything blows in Georgia. Of course, I'm picking on Martin. Oh, yeah. Global warming. Well, I'd like for some of that global warming on D's. You already know where that's going. Just saying. Jeffrey Feinberg. Howdy, sir. That is a Romeo 505. Now, it says Nicaragua, and it is from Nicaragua. And I'm going to say to anybody who's interested in this particular cigar, howdy, Todd. Great to see you, sir. Space City does not need a space heater. Think about it, Martin. Come on now. Come on. If you're thinking about getting one of these cigars, my suggestion is get the Toro. Of the 3 or 4 sizes that I have had, I believe one is a torpedo. And I'm not fond of the torpedoes, as I've talked about before. It's because I smoke with a wet palate. I mean, look, this cigar is already starting to be a little soggy. I barely took 5 drags. I mean, come on. The Robusto, it misses that last inch. Right as it gets to one of the best parts, that's when you're putting that cigar out, because it's already burning your fingers. And the Churchill, for whatever reason, the length of the Churchill, it does not provide this particular cigar that level of completeness. I don't know what's wrong with the Churchill size, but I've talked to the makers, and they said when they rolled it the first time to check it out, to figure out if it was going to be a good cigar or not, they rolled it for a Toro size, and they thought it was going to be great because the Toro size is great. But The other sizes just came off either flat or, I hate saying this, but immature. There's a certain level of maturity of the tobacco that comes through in the Toro that just doesn't show up in the Churchill. I don't know why. Well, Todd, that's very, very cool. I'm hoping you do get to that 100 subscribers. I know I'm subscribed. Oh, very cool, Todd. Very cool. Martin, as far as the Tabac Especial Red Eye, I've smoked the whole Tabac line. I liked the Tabac line. What more could I tell you? I like the whole lineup, but I gotta be in the mood to smoke a infused cigar. Now, luckily, it's infused with coffee, a little bit of sweetness on some of them and not on all of them, and some of them have like a hint of a creaminess that you don't get with normal cigars. But yeah, they're pretty nice. I like the whole lineup. I'm not going to sit there and try and tell you that one of them's better than the other, but there's a lot there going on that you might be able to really find and enjoy. Hey, Todd, that's a princely gift there, sir. If not kingly. I mean, it's hard for me to sit there and think that a Phil Rivera pipe is anything less than worthy of a king. I mean, that is just straight up statement of fact. PA Piper, yes, for my palate, infused cigars are nasty. The only ones I do tend to enjoy do happen to be the coffee infused ones. I've had bourbon infused ones, and I would think, oh yeah, I like bourbon. No, I didn't like a bourbon infused cigar. And I've had a bunch of them. And the vanilla sticks are only tolerable if I'm going to someplace to watch like a UFC event and they won't let me smoke a real cigar. By the way, howdy, PA Piper. Great to see you, sir. Yes, that is true. It does have some coffee notes, but a lot more people will miss those coffee notes, and they'll only be tasting the pepper and spice. Now, I'm not trying to tell people what you're going to taste and what you're not going to taste in a Padron, but the whole 1,000 lineup, so 2,000, 3,000, up to 7,000, that whole lineup, you can be collecting some coffee notes out of the Maduro one. But a lot of people do not like coffee like I like coffee. Black. Strong. A lot of people like coffee with a little bit of cream and sugar in it. And thus the tobacco, it works. But I do agree with you, PA. I do definitely agree with you that you can get some really nice coffee notes out of the Padron 1000 series. And I'm the first one to say, I'm not a big fan of infused cigars. But if I have to have a cigar and the whole selection is nothing but infused, and I see the tobaccos, I at least know I've got a friend. I'm not going to suffer unreasonably. It's not going to be like, it's not going to be like you're going to, you know, waste your money at James. They are pretty damn good. Even for people that do not like infused cigars. They're probably going to come back and be like, man, you know, that cup of coffee that I didn't have to have because I had this cigar, that was pretty good. It was good. Now, tobaccos are more like a latte. You know, there's still a lot of coffee there at a good place. Don't go to Starbucks. That's just burnt crap. Trust me on that one. I know the difference. I've tasted burnt coffee before, and I know what it tastes like. And no, nobody at Starbucks has to like it. I don't care. You over roast your damn coffee, that's what it's going to taste like. Then you got to add 4 times as much coffee just to get it to have any kind of a caffeine level that's worthy of the price tag that you're going to be slapping down on it. If I wanted to waste my money, yeah, I'd go to Starbucks because they put a lot of crap in their coffee just to make it taste good. Well, there you go. By the way, James, appreciate you being here, sir. Howdy. By the way, I was talking with James the other day, and I came up with a statement. Because I'm gonna tell this story. Because it recently happened. I take a package over to UPS. Brown. What can Brown do for you? Brown cannot find James Stumbo's address if they are in Houston. Damn it all to hell. Amazon can find his address, but Brown cannot. So I go over to FedEx. FedEx says, hey, yeah, we could do this, but you're going to have to open a shipping account. Well, I don't want to open a shipping account for roughly 15 times what the product is worth. Actually, it's only about 6 times what the product is worth total. And of which I'm only shipping half of, so 6 times 2, so that's 12 times what the product is worth. So I ended up having to tell a little white lie and say that it's a snow globe. But here's the funny thing that I came up with. Computers in Houston can put a man on the moon, but can't put a can in your hand. Jeffrey, I am not a fan of the Ashton. VSGs are pretty decent though. I'm not gonna complain about the VSGs. But most of the Ashtons that I've got just end up they taste like ash is in my mouth. And I'm not a fan of that particular flavor for whatever reason. It keeps showing up. Oh, look, it's a bot family. Hey, Patrick, I hope you're having fun playing Whack-A-Bot. Howdy, Jose Golf Piper. Great to see you, sir. Now, the only thing I do not particularly care for in this cigar is that it is a box-pressed cigar. As you can see, the flat sides. I like to roll a cigar in my hands, and square cigars, they don't roll the way I want them to. And part of enjoying the cigar for me is that feel of it in my hand, the texture of it, just being able to just relax and sit there with it. Yeah, Jabe, sister something. Probably sister to that scarecrow you had on that thumbnail that one time. Uh-huh. Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate all the wrench work you've been doing. You and Paul and Boris have been doing a great job here. I appreciate it greatly. Scott, there is that. They don't roll off of a table. But I have this problem. I don't set a cigar down, so there's no way it's going to roll off that table. So as I roll it around in my hand, I want it to feel round. There's only one cigar I don't like more than a box press, and that's the San Latano Oval that looks like it got ran over by a forklift. That is true, James. That is extremely true. There is no one right cigar. Because if there was one right cigar, then every cigar would be a cigar I loved. Because, well, I'm right. Now, the other problem is, if there was only one right cigar, every cigar I would hate because you're right. And if you like a cigar I don't like, well, there you go. Howdy, Sharon. Great to see you. Jose, I've never tried that particular cigar. Jeffrey, it depends upon the particular cigar. Sometimes I buy bundles, sometimes I buy boxes, sometimes I buy 5 at a shot, and sometimes I buy singles. Howdy, Paul. Great to see you, sir. So it was 37, feels like 28 degrees Fahrenheit when I started. For anybody coming in late and wondering why I'm looking like Frosty the Clown over here, all dressed up. James, you're so right. Everything would either be sold out all the time, or there'd be so much of it because only a select few people would actually like it. Which means the YTPC would either be a really small group or a really, really small group. And me being able to help people out with cigars would be non-existent. Because I'd be able to say, hey, you either like it or you don't. That's it. There's no other options. Jose, what part of Texas are you in again? Because I remember you're in Texas somewhere, but I don't remember. Scott, I'm right there with you. Depending upon the day, I could change from Maduro to Connecticut to whatever. Ooh, Arlington. Yeah, you're only about 300 miles north of me. 250 between Dallas, dead center, and Houston. Arlington is slightly south of Dallas, but you have to take some dog legs to get there. And I'm on the south side of Houston by about that same amount, 30-ish miles. Yeah. So, yeah, it's about 300 miles out. Day trip, no big deal. James, that's funny. I cannot eat the same thing every night. But I could eat the same exact breakfast and the same exact lunch every day for weeks on end. But at night, I'm going to have something different. That's funny because my wife and my mother-in-law, they both always say, I want something different. And I will name off 15 different things, and they will shoot everything down, and then we will end up eating the same old thing. I just live with it. PA depends upon the Connecticut. If I'm just not feeling like having a strong cigar, I could easily do the Rose of Sharon or the Grupo de Maestros by Monte Cristo. Both of those are very tasty and fairly strong enough, surprisingly, to quench what I'm looking for anyways. And no, those cigars aren't for everybody, but they are two of the tastiest ones I've come across. James, my normal breakfast is, well, nothing. I don't know why. I've just never really been a breakfast person. Once my metabolism slowed down so that I wasn't having to eat, it was like a meal I could do without. I was fine. No big deal. That's just how it works for me. But for me, if it's cold, I'm probably going to eat oatmeal. Whether it be one of those instant packs or one of them long cooking type things, it doesn't matter. Oatmeal. I mean, I'll go to the Waffle House and I'll suck down an All-Star like nobody's business. Yes, I know. Some of y'all know what I just said, and some of y'all have no clue what I just said. But if you've never been to a Waffle House, next time you go, ask for the All-Star and just get them to doctor it up the way you want to. But tell them pecans in the damn waffle. Adds a little something. No big deal. Well, Jose, I definitely take my coffee black, but no, not really any toast. I'm just not hungry in the morning. I'll drink a big cup of coffee, smoke a pipe or a cigar. Thank you, Jeffrey. I certainly will. Are you out of here or are you still hanging around? No problem. Either way, there's no requirement that says you got to stay. Eggs, oatmeal, and coffee is your breakfast. Very nice. All right, Jeffrey, you take care. be well, and hopefully we'll see you again. Oh yeah, Jose. I mean, the Waffle House All Star is basically the breakfast of champions. It's got everything. Oh, and when you get to the hash browns, find that spot on the menu that tells you scattered, covered, or scattered, smothered, covered, chunk, chopped, diced, peppered, capped. Yeah, you can just tell them all the way, but you might not like all the way. When you figure out what I was just saying, you'll understand. There's lots of options to add into your hash browns. And if I'm going to eat Waffle House, I might as well eat big. Well, James, I'm not really too big on putting butter on anything. I mean, there's some things, but just no big deal. Cinnamon and a little honey, I could see that. Just remember, if you're going to try to do a tablespoon of cinnamon, well, good luck. You will be choking on it. Look, I'm good with just about anything you could add into oatmeal. It's no big deal, one way or the other. But hey, it all just depends upon what you like with your oatmeal. Chorizo and eggs, fresh tortillas, hell yeah. Might as well go with migas. Some of y'all know what I said, some of y'all don't. But if you ever happen to be around a real Hispanic slash Mexican restaurant that does breakfast, my suggestion would be ordering the migas. It'll stick with you pretty good. And it's not too hard to scrape it down. I mean, I'll put a little bit of butter in with the oatmeal, or malto meal, or cream of wheat, or whatever. I'm kind of omnivorous. As long as it doesn't kill me, I'll probably eat it. Not a problem. Oh yeah, James, you don't really need to add a whole lot of cinnamon to some oatmeal. Just think of it like pepper and just sprinkle it on till it got a little bit of color to it. You're good. Oh yeah, the whole tablespoon of cinnamon. I've seen some people try it. I have never seen anybody succeed. See, I mean, there's what, a couple of hundred ways to fix oatmeal. Think about it. Oatmeal. We're talking about one of the boringest breakfasts on the planet, but there's a couple of hundred ways to fix it. None of them are wrong. It's just like tobacco. It's just like pipes. It's just like life. No one way is the right way. There's so many good ways to do it. You just have to do what's right for you. And hopefully it's within the law, because doing things outside of the law does tend to be not right for society, and that'll get you in trouble. Well, Sharon, I am not drinking anything today, mostly because it would freeze solid by the time I get done here. But I am smoking a Romeo 505. It's a cigar I like. And it's under talked about, surprisingly, because I thought it has a really good flavor. James might not like quite as much pepper as is in this, but it's not got a whole lot. It's got touches of it. Just, it shows up and then it goes away. And then a few more puffs, it shows up again, and then a few more puffs and it's gone again. It's more like leathery. Leathery is going to be one of the major flavors that you're going to get out of this one. Patrick, you've been going on those Newminster Superior rolls in that LCS razor cut for a while. You're going to burn that sucker out. You got to get yourself a cob and throw it in that mix, brother. I don't want to see you burn out such a nice pipe. James, you know, there is that, yes. If stuff can lower a blood pressure and it's natural, you know what? If you got high blood pressure, you might want to figure out a way to start enjoying that, whatever it happens to be. Same thing with lowering blood sugar. If you happen to be diabetic, but there's a natural product that can help lower your sugar levels, you might not like it, but if it helps, hey, no big deal. There is a product I use that's out on the market that's pretty much a natural product. It is called Stone Breaker. It helps with kidney stones. I consume one dropper full every morning with either a glass of water or I never add it to coffee. I'm not brave enough to ruin my coffee that way. It's bitter. Oh, it's rough. But dealing with kidney stones or dealing with this really foul tasting stuff that I only have to put one dropper worth in down my throat every morning. Let me think. I'll take the dropper, please. Kidney stones are... Yeah, I wouldn't wish that on Hitler. James, does that mean that Amber's going to be back in time before it gets nasty? Because tomorrow would be Friday. If she's coming home for the weekend, I'm hoping she can get there before it gets nasty. Yes, sir, P.A. Piper. I agree with you. Howdy, Jose. Great to see you, sir. ¿Cómo estás, amigo? And I'm going to go ahead and reply. Muy bien. Gracias, señor. All right, James, not a problem. Just let her know we were thinking about her. Yes, I do actually think about people other than myself. I am not narcissistic. I am not narcissistic. Hell, I can barely even say the word, so I can't be it. James, I agree with you entirely. If you've got family and loved ones that are out there and you got to worry about it, man, that's a great way to get ulcers. Well, let's just say it. There is no such thing as a good ulcer. But knowing that they're safe in shelter, have food. That's a good thing. Lawsuits in the workplace. One reason why I don't want to go to work, because they will get sued for sexual harassment. Not true. Mostly because I won't report sexual harassment. I'll grade it, though. A woman's stupid enough to sexually harass me, I mean, I might as well put a grade on it. I mean, shouldn't it be enough to say, hey, I'm married? In my book it is, but, well, you know, my book's not always on the right page, I guess. Yes, I say some surprisingly crazy things. I think we're all used to stuff like that by now. At Jose, yes, it's cold. It's not as cold as that time I spent with Boris. The gloves are inside, mostly because I'm enjoying this cigar. Huva Ilta, Boris. Great to see you, sir. Woo! 16 degrees. I know what 16 degrees feels like. And Boris saw me, so he can verify. But it started off, this particular stream started off with, if you can see that, 37 degrees, feels like 28 degrees. It's that feels like 28 degrees, which is where it's actually painfully cold. It's almost like dipping your hand in ice water and just keeping it there. And then, let's see, what else did we have? That's right. It's going to be pretty chilly for a couple of days. But the high temperatures by Wednesday, you know, it'll be back up to being comfortable. Well, when I say comfortable, I mean like t-shirt type weather. And then there's this storm front that's moving in on me. It should be here, roughly about the same time that Robert goes live. Thanks, Robert. I will appreciate not delaying too much because I don't want to be a popsicle out here. Jose, Houston does get cold from time to time. The funny thing is, it feels so much more brutally cold because yesterday it was damn near 70 degrees. You can go back and watch yesterday's live stream. I was in a t-shirt, sitting in the same spot. Well, within an inch or two. And it's that drop from 70 down to 30 in the space of 24 hours that makes it just so much colder because your body just can't get used to it. And then right after the cold passes, it's going to be right back up to damn near boiling. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of y'all out there that are saying, yeah, 64 would be nice. I agree with you. It's that roller coaster of Mother Nature acting like she's schizophrenic that's the problem. She could just make up her mind and keep it steady. Be a whole lot better. It's like driving. There's no reason to full blast to go 30 feet just to hit the brakes so that you could hit the gas full blast again. Just howdy, Steve and Miss Kathy. Great to see both of y'all. Hopefully y'all are doing well. And well, Jose, who's in Arlington, which is about halfway in between Houston and where Steve and Kathy are. So I can imagine it's pretty cold up there right now, Steve. Stay bundled and warm. Ah, yes, Jose. That's the crazy thing. It will drop like a rock. And 1 or 2, sometimes 3 days later, it's right back to whatever. It's no big deal. And that's always the problem with the weather in Houston. It's not that it's cold. It's that it suddenly drops from really comfortable to, damn, it's cold. And your body is still trying to say, what happened to that comfort? That was great. Oh, Steve, hopefully y'all do not have any problems keeping warm. Boris, are you gonna do a video? It'll be your first. Not pushing or nothing. I kind of miss hitting those Zoom meetings where I could actually hear Boris talking. He's got this excellent low gravelly speaking voice. It just makes you think, God, that man must be the toughest bastard on the planet. Not saying bastard as a bad thing, but that's a that's a localized type of statement of got some respect for that man. And I do respect you, Boris. I respect the hell out of you. Because all those cold temperatures you keep posting, it just makes me hurt. I know I couldn't handle it. Hell, I'd have to show up with a jacket just to survive your summertime. Oh, very cool, Boris. Hey, come on now. We're not saying everybody's doing a God. Nobody forces anybody to do a God. Some people can, some people can't. Steve, I understand that theory entirely. Just below where the boxers leave off, the legs get a little bit chilly. And I'm keeping this hand on top of my bad knee, mostly so I'll be able to stand up after this is over. Robert, I will not be smoking during your live stream. Not trying to lie to you, brother, but I'm only going to deal with this cold long enough to kill this cigar. Some of your live stream will be consuming this cigar, but still. How's that for a good cigar? Look at that. It was damn near out. 3 puffs and it was lit right back up. Signal Man Tony, howdy, sir. Great to see you. All right. 2 interesting stories from Rhode Island. I worked for a company that was based out of the Boston area. And they said, "Hey, you got to come up here to the head office because we've got a little class seminar type thing." I said, "Cool." And they told me to drive from here to the North Airport because that's the one that flew into Boston back then. Now Southwest does, but back then it was only the one at the North Airport. Kind of a pain in the butt. Well, Southwest would fly from the close airport, but they would only go as far as Providence, Rhode Island. So I told the travel agency that is owned by the company I worked for, switch it over to me flying on this other airline to here and then renting a car and I'll drive into Boston, no problem. And they were like, "Yeah, but we've got a car that'll pick you up and all this." And I'm like, "Yeah, but then I have to wait for a car. If I want to go anywhere, I'm stuck." It turned out that flying on a different airline and renting a car for a week was cheaper than just flying on the other airline. They stopped questioning my moves when I started showing them the savings. Jose, yes, I do like Virginia and Orientals. Definitely do. Good to see you too, PA. You take care, and well, hopefully you're back in time to join Robert's show. That should be in about 30 minutes. I like some Virginias better than others, and I like some Orientals better than others, but I don't know enough to tell you which ones are which. Okay, and then the other fun story from Rhode Island. I was working for a different company, and I was tasked with going to the Rhode Island, the large post office in Rhode Island. This place has a cathedral type ceiling. It's some ridiculously awesome architecture. I get done with my work and I'm heading back, and I'm like, man, I'm kind of hungry. So I pull up what food, or I asked my friend Deb, just in case y'all are wondering, what food is around here? And she's like, "Oh, look, there's a Hooters right there." So I was like, cool, I'll go to Hooters. Hooters is on the back side of the Providence airport. And obviously, Tony knows where it is I'm talking about. And I'm going to tell you, when I was there, now this was back in 05, maybe 06. Let's just say that it was the prettiest Hooters I have ever been to. Their waitresses were definitely on the scholarship plan. But they would not serve me a pitcher of beer. Every other Hooters on the planet would serve me by myself a pitcher of beer because I would sit there for a whole football parade of games and drink my pitcher of beer and order more wings and more wings and more wings. It was just easier for them to send me a pitcher than to bring me the glasses. Oh, Tony, that's horrible. It could be because there might have been a little bit of some illegal stuff going on from that place. But I'm not saying that. Let's just say that some of those girls look... Well, they had adjusted their uniforms to be just a little bit skimpier than most of the Hooters that I had been to. And there were certain things that were just a little bit more out there. I didn't have a problem with it. I was there to watch football. But it was hard to watch football when stuff like that goes walking past you every 30 seconds. Well, Tony, if I ever get back up to Rhode Island, I will definitely be looking to find out wherever you are. Rhode Island's not that big. It's about the same size as Harris County. Barely. Not even. Never mind. It's smaller than Harris County. New Jersey is the size of Harris County. You have to cut it up a little bit, but it fits inside Harris County. People don't believe me when I say that, but yeah. It's what it is. Okay, so Tony's at least sort of more or less agreeing with me that Hooters was maybe a little bit trashier than I expected. But wow, was it good looking. Yeah, 50 miles long is Beltway 8, which is not all inside Harris County, but damn it, I forgot to turn off the ding thing. And there it goes again. Steve, I have been in too damn many aircraft to even possibly begin to imagine what that would be like. Luckily, I've never had that experience. Though I was trained to leave in a hurry if I had to. Somewhere. Southern Piper, howdy sir, great to see you. Alright, so at least I'm having somebody verify that I was not lying about some locations I've been to that were kind of out of the way, middle of nowhere. Here's one for you. There's a place up in Vermont on the northern end of Lake Champlain. You can cross a bridge and get into New York. but you got to cross water. You can cross a bridge and get to the rest of Vermont, but you've got to cross water. But you can walk across dry land and be in Canada. I think it's called like Alberg or or something like that. Yeah, been there. Oh, and Tony, yes, you were right that the large post office is in Providence. And if you can ever go onto the inside of it, it's the weirdest thing because you're looking at architecture that is completely different from every other post office you will ever see, as far as I know. I mean, these crazy vaulted ceilings, but it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with the architecture. It's beautiful, but you don't expect to see that in a post office. Uh-oh, I got a package. Give me a second.
Thank you. I certainly will try.
Hey, guess what? Surprise Yabo. Good Lord, somebody spent a hefty price tag getting this to me. I don't see a name from where it came from. So we're going to find out. Hey, it might be anthrax. Some things were mailed at one point in time. Let's find out what's in it. It's paper. It's a lot of paper. Brown paper. And more brown paper. And more brown paper. And uh-oh. I know what this is. I know what this is. This smells of Nashville. Just in case anybody is wondering, there were some guys out there in Nashville that had themselves a GAW back just before Christmas. So we're going to start with, Boris guessed it right, the CBG. I'm a little nervous of that. And I can't smell it. Ooh. And I got a sticker. And another sticker. And I don't even know how to say this. Ennerdale? Ennerdale. Aromatic pipe tobacco from G&H. We'll just say G&H because I'm going to screw that up. And what I've really been looking forward to, Squadron Leader. Now, I knew it was coming. I didn't know when it would get here. And, of course, I told Willie, I am not in a rush. Take your time. You can send mine out last. It would be fine. And Willie, yes, I will smoke the Clapton Black Grape. I'm sure I've got a cob that's about ready to quit. I'll even smoke it live just to sit there and hopefully not puke live. Never know, it might be great. I'm not going to say it's horrible before I've tried it. I might disappoint Mr. Everett Young if I do like it. I will say, I am not going to take it to Oklahoma if I go to Oklahoma. Because according to Kathy, you'll get skinned alive if you smoke the grape in Oklahoma. Just saying. Tony, it started off at 37 degrees, and well, let's see, it's probably still 37 degrees, but it might have dropped down to 36. But yes, I started this stream right after I took these screenshots, so yeah, let's call it 37 degrees Fahrenheit, but feels like 28 and probably a little colder. Steve, I'm going to keep an open mind. Okay, so only smoke the Inner Dale in a cob because it is Lakeland. Well, this might be the first Lakeland blend I've ever had. And I'm not going to diss on Inner Dale before I've tried it. I'm not going to diss on Captain Black Grape before I tried it. Something tells me I am not going to diss on the Squadron Leader. Mostly because I've looked at it several times and I never put it in the cart. But I keep looking at it going like, one of these days. And then, well, one of these days is finally here. So Willie and John, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I had a great time just before Christmas. Here it is, a month and something later. I don't mind. Like I said, I wasn't upset with waiting. Oh, Steve, it'll be okay because I'll be outside. I won't be smoking that inside the house. I do not smoke inside the house. That's why I'm always out here hitting the bricks, so to speak. But if Kathy can get as downright ornery enough to say she's going to break out the skinning knife and get to work scalping some people, I'm going to worry a little bit about it. Oh, it's the strongest Lakeland. Okay, so strongest as in strongest of flavor or strongest of nicotine? That's going to be my one major worry there, Boris. If it's strongest of flavor, I mean, I'll muscle through. if it's the strongest of nicotine, if it's the strongest of nicotine, well, then I'll just make sure I have some kind of a sugary something or other to drink. That way I don't end up falling out when I have it. Oh, it's the strongest in that Lakeland taste. Okay. I will deal with it. I will muscle through. Smoke it like a champion. Like I said, though, I was really looking forward to this squadron leader. Because, well, like I said, I've always been looking at it. I keep looking at it. And then I keep passing it up because I'm like, well, I don't have a job right now, so I don't want to spend that much money for just a tip. I always miss the good sales. Speaking of good sales, if anybody's looking for Lane bulk blends, right now at tobaccopipes.com, they have a 15% off Lane bulk blends. I know 15% ain't all that much, but that drops it down into that Sutliff price, which means you order up a pound or two and get them to ship it. And if you're like me, you'll get them to go through and say, get that price tag to that $100 mark so you get free shipping. Howdy, Odie. Great to see you, sir. Yes, Odie, I am cold. No, Odie, it's not actually cold. But it's cold enough that yesterday, when it was 70, it now feels like it's 20 or less, and it's really closer to 40. Though it is in the 30s. And I don't know how low in the 30s. And for everybody who's wondering what I'm smoking tonight, it is a Romeo 505. And it's the Toro size because that's the one I thought represented that brand and flavor profile the best. Okay, so gotta let it dry for 20 to 30 minutes, which in Houston means about 3 hours. I took a blend that everybody said you got to let it sit for 20 to 30, and I did it. Not a problem, Jose. You take care. Be warm. Be well. Well, I know you're warm. It's summer for you. Be well and be safe, my friend. But yeah, the blends that take 20 to 30 minutes to dry out sufficiently in the Houston area tend to take quite a bit longer because the humidity is normally so freakishly high. We get down to 50% humidity, and we call that a dry day. And then we're all coughing and hacking because the aqua lung doesn't work. Tell you what, last night everybody was talking about, I saw Jethro Tull here, and I saw Jethro Tull there. I was only able to say, I saw Jethro Tull on YouTube. Guess that doesn't count. But one of his songs is Aqua Lung, and that's what jarred the memory. Good song, too, just say it. Ah, Romeo and Julieta, 1875. Very nice, Steve. Very nice. I think I was smoking one of those just the other day. I do like them. And they've got several different wrappers, so you can pretty much almost always find one that will fit your personal preference. I guess the easiest way to compare Romeo y Julietas and just the plain Romeo, which this one is just a Romeo. Now they're made at the same place, but the Romeos tend to have a more full flavor and a little bit of a harsher feel. They're not as smooth as the Romeo y Julietas. Oh, look, it's starting to sprinkle. Yay. That cold front finally got here. Hey, but I was right. Look, Robert goes live in about 10 minutes. I won't be here too much longer. Thankfully. Well, Boris, you are lucky, sir. Because, in my opinion, compared to the American Romeo, or the American available Romeo y Julietas, the Cubans are just far superior. But they do the best they can with what they're allowed to do to still ship it to America. But I do feel that the draw is better on the American versions than the Cuban versions. You don't have to quote me on that. I'm just saying I've had a few of the Romeo and Julietas from Cuba that have plugged up on me. And I've almost never had that problem with the ones that are readily available here in the States. Now, does that mean I maybe had a fake Cuban? Yeah, that might be true. But I know enough about Cubans to know what I'm looking for and to be able to figure out if it is or not. And I couldn't tell that it wasn't an actual Cuban. So could it have been faked? Yes, but if they faked it, they did a damn good job at faking it. Okay, so Boris is agreeing with me. All right, cool. I'm not off my rocker then trying to say that I think that the ones that show up here in the Americas have a better draw. I think it has to do with the truly great master rollers all tried to leave Cuba as fast as they could when the American embargo for cigars went through. And a lot of them got out. A whole lot of them got out. Jose Padron was one of those people that used to be a Cuban master cigar roller. And he got out, moved to Miami, started his own company. It's what we know as Padron these days. And hey, that's a fine cigar. James, he has said that he's going to open it up tomorrow. I'm not going to force him to. But I did have a Yabo while you were out. There's Interdale. There's Squadron Leader. There's Captain Black Grape. And there's some nice, pretty stickers. Oh, got them upside down. Sorry, Nashville Mafia. Don't send the hit squad. Most of them are here anyways. And that is just one of the reasons why lately I have not been getting into very many GAWs at all, because, well, I felt blessed. I felt very blessed. Mark sent me a pipe and some tobacco, and I won this on the GAW for the Nashville Mafia, and you know, I had so many wins in my life that I was like, okay, I hold off. I let other people have a shot at winning. Don't get into this one. I wanted to get into I want to get into every GAW. Don't get me wrong. I'm just like every other human. I'm greedy. I would love to have it all. But then, like James said just the other night, sometimes you just have to take a step back and go, whoa, that's greedy. You don't need to have it all. And quite honestly, how I feel about the YTPC, it's a win just being here with y'all. So, if y'all ever think, oh yeah, Donald's going to get into this GAW, and you see that I don't, know for a fact that it's probably because I've won one or two things or gotten sent one or two things out of the blue or something, and then I'm just wanting to allow everybody else a much better chance at getting the win, because it feels good to win. I mean, how was that said? Losers always say they will try their best. Winners go home and, well, Holly might not have been a prom queen, but she's my version of a queen, and that'll work for me. Okay, Steve, I will take the time to do that. I will definitely take the time to do that. But right now, these are sucked down so tight that I'm thinking that I'm pretty good for right now. But, well, maybe not squadron leader so much. But, yeah, I will definitely take the time to make sure these are sealed up nice and tight. Though I'll probably be digging into that squadron leader before too much longer. Because like I said, I've always wanted to try it. I got into pipes way before, I got into pipes, truly into pipes, way after I should have. I was always more into cigars. Nobody's fault but my own. I mean, when I had a job and could have, I didn't. And then when I didn't have a job and I was like, oh, I gotta cut back on my spending. Well, that's when I really got into pipes and said, hey, I can cut back on spending. I'm good with this. Drunk texting and drunk videos. Everybody needs it. Okay, so Robert's about to go live. That's ENASDAD. In case you're looking for the channel. He's pretty good about going live on time. Unlike one guy who lives over there somewhere just slightly south of Atlanta, that we all love to sit around and enjoy his show on a Friday evening, who always seems to be a little bit late. Pointing the finger at you, Martin. Pointing the finger at you. No big deal. It is what it is. I'm still there. You know I'm going to be. I can't let Boris catch me. I think Boris is the only one even close. I think he's about 6 hours behind me. So, I should be hitting 100 hours at Martin's show pretty soon. Good Lord. Glutton for punishment, I guess. Alright, so, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm fairly certain Robert is about to go live. I want y'all to remember, take care of yourselves and each other. Do the best you can with that. We always do, and hopefully we always will. And as per always, y'all remember, long lives, big bowls, and long ashes. Oh, and look, there's the dinger saying Robert just went live. Y'all take care, and I will see you on Robert's channel here in just a minute. Thanks for being here. I really enjoyed y'all being here. Let's do it again tomorrow. And bye for now. Come on, phone.